Welcome back, Fresh Bake, for another update on construction progress going on around the Disneyland Resort. And we're starting today at the Tiki Room, where they put up that thing last week. We saw that rectangular deal. It looks like they've moved they moved on from this. Here's another look. Or they've progressed, I should say. And you can see right there at the top of those things that they've attached some cable. This cable right here. So obviously this has got to be for some sort of awning, some sort of covering for that area. I thought maybe they were adding those lamps, but those lamps were already here. So it does look like they're getting ready to put some covering over here. So that helps, you know, as we said, put the lid on things. And while we're on the topic of this area between Jolly Holiday and Tiki Room, I wanted to show just how these transitions work. We talked a little bit about this in the live stream, and you can see how fluid these transitions are from Adventureland to Main Street or the Jolly Holiday. It's something that Disney is really, really good at, and it's most obvious. This is one of the most obvious and best observations of this technique. When you walk through Adventureland, let's say, or you walk into Adventureland, you don't even notice that there's brick on one side and bamboo on the other. Matter of fact, you don't even notice that the brick is trimmed with bamboo. It's a fascinating technique that and it's the reason why Walt used Hollywood stage builders, people who build sets for film rather than traditional construction. Because they want to build a proper building. But that's not really what Walt was into. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to be able to tell a story and put on a show. And so, you use show techniques such as this, which it's really quite amazing. Here's another shot of the roof line we talked about during that live stream as well. On one side of the roof, they share the same building. On one side of the roof is that, thatched roof, and then the other side is the Jolly Holiday roof. And I don't even really feel like I'm, pulling back the curtain on this at all, because I know this and I still walk by and don't notice it on a regular basis when I walk through the park, the areas where it is. I know that this is happening, and I don't expect anybody else to, because it's so seamless. In the same way how the music changes and the sounds change as you cross over from one land to another, which Ian and I will get into later this week. In our trip report. But there you go. So that's the progress happening at the Tiki Room, and we'll head over to Tropical Hideaway, where we got a pretty good look through this knothole. And you can kind of see right there's some bamboo that I'm thinking is new. That's the exit. If I have my bearings correct, that's the exit for the Tiki Room, and you can either turn left as you're walking out of the Tiki Room into Tropical Hideaway, or you can follow that little path and then turn right to that little seating area and then exit Tiki Room proper, the old-fashioned way.
Well, my feeling is that there's not a lot of stuff to do out in the
And here we've got some posts. Looks like they're building some additional posts there, and they're resting them on those seahorses. Sawhorses? Seahorses. Sawhorses. Oh dear. There's a box. Found a box.
Well, no, I mean the counter service area.
Yeah, there's some more. See those things? Those things that's actually rail. It's at an angle, so you can't really tell what they are, but those are rails that are going to be propped up and put on that a bridge, I believe. And there's that post again that you can see in the foreground there. And in the background, that's the service area in the background where those ladders and stuff are. It's got to be new bamboo. I don't recall. I can't remember. Well, I think it is. Now, real quick, I want to compare that to the concept art and show you guys what I'm talking about. What we just saw there, those the the posts are going to be right here along that bridge. And then this is the area, the new bamboo, the fresh bamboo. That's that area right here, if I'm not mistaken. Meanwhile, we have a fun image from a friend of Fresh Baked who got a little over-the-wall shot. And if we take a closer look at this guy, you can see more of those posts. These posts here you can see from over the fence. There's no trouble seeing those as you walk by if you just look. But you can see right now very plainly, though, in the middle of the picture is one of the bridges. This is, if we look at the concept art again, that is this bridge right here. And then over here to the right at an angle a little bit, just, as it starts to head out of frame, is the second bridge to the right. And then in between here, where in that space right there, will be, a river of some kind. And then this concrete, I think that's concrete. It's kind of hard to tell. But that concrete is leading you back to the counter service area that we mentioned previously. Now this photo I think was taken prior to my video, so I'm not sure what progress has made since then. But that concrete area is leading you into this counter service area back here. And then finally, in a fun little catch that we didn't even notice at first, there was a sign exposed over the fence that we were seeing. Because I always try to get an over the fence shot, like an establishing shot, and we're like, wait a second. There's a sign that says Dole Whip on it. So first, this is confirmation that Dole Whips will be served at the Tropical Hideaway. And it's also going to be called, the sign says Dole Whip, I presume, which may, have meaning to some of you, maybe not, I'm not sure. Dole Whip, I presume, is a callback to the old Sun-Kissed, I presume, counter service snack bar in Adventureland. It was located where Bengal Barbecue is located today. Here's a shot of the interior. That counter has not changed, as far as I can tell. That's the same counter that we have today at Bengal Barbecue, and there's Lady Di ordering some kind of orange juice drink, I'm sure. And this looks like maybe late 70s, early 80s. And then here's a shot from behind from the River Bell. You can see Sun-Kissed, I presume, sign there. So not a lot has changed. These folks here are probably having a conversation about the latest polyester pantsuit fashions. And then if we got another shot here from the opposite side, the Adventureland Bazaar, which this picture fascinates me for different reasons. And I know I'm like off topic, but this picture fascinates me because look at all those tables and chairs. That's Adventureland, guys. That's Adventureland. Right next to the Jungle Cruise and Tropical Hideaway. That planter right there is where we always hang out when we're getting video of the Tropical Hideaway. There's like, I don't know, who knows how many tables and chairs in the middle of that path? That's crazy town. And that's, again, this looks like maybe early 80s. Fascinating. All right, moving on. Let's go to Tomorrowland to see what's happening at the Nemo Lagoon viewing area. Last week we observed, hey, there's a monorail. Last week we observed that they are putting in new mesh for new rock work, and it looks like that is continuing. You can see that that mesh is still there at the far end, and they put in some more in the near end next to the rock work that's already completed. And like last week, I don't really see much change in terms of them. I don't see any signs of them doing anything more than, you know what? Maybe what they're doing. Here's a thought. Maybe they're lengthening the viewing area. Because if you recall, I don't have any video of or photos of the actual viewing area. I have video shot from that area, but not of the actual viewing area. But it was not very wide. It was maybe 3 shoulders wide. You could fit 3 people along those rocks. This rock work here, that's, 4 times as long. Right? That looks like a good 50 feet. So it looks to me like maybe that's what they're doing here, is they're just lengthening the viewing area for guests to observe the Nemo Lagoon, which is nice. That's lovely, if I'm right. If I'm not, then this is more wild speculation and conjecture. Let's go to DCA, to Pixar Pier, to see that there's no Bing Bong still. We're looking, guys. Don't worry, we're looking. But he is here. Bing Bong has arrived, and he's behind that baggie. And there's his head. Now, the question is, it's an interesting question because, Ian and I have debated this for a while. What is taking so long? Ian's theory, which is half jest, it's more of that. This is Ian's version of wild conjecture and speculation, is that they just took the Bing Bong that was on the float for the Pixar Play Parade, and they waited for that parade to end so they could take Bing Bong's animatronic, whatever it is, off that float. Which that makes sense in terms of timing because it's fairly recent that parade ended. But that begs the question then: why isn't he just if he's ready to go? Then why are we not seeing Bing Bong right now? Why is he still under wraps? It's been a week now, and he's still under wraps. And from what I've heard is that he's going to be unwrapped on Friday, this coming Friday. So we'll be sure to be there on Saturday to get a shot of that. So the question is, how elaborate is this Bing Bong? Is he an animatronic? And if he's an animatronic, how elaborate is that animatronic? Because if it's not that elaborate, what are we waiting for? What have we been waiting for all this time? I feel like all this time spent waiting for Bing Bong, and I know I'm really obsessing over him more than I need to, but what have we been waiting for? He better live up to the hype, because now there's all kinds of hype for this thing to be unveiled. People are going to go nuts.
Definitely.
And finally, we're going to wrap at the Mickey and Friends, or the Cleo parking structure, with some shots of the near completed. I mean, this thing looks almost done. Does it not? They still have to build the top level, though. That's true. Yeah. We're a ways from that. They still have to build one more floor. But they have recently, it looks like, put in that. I think that cinder block wall down there on the ground floor is pretty new, I think. And here's a wide shot of the length. Now, oh gosh, that's right. We need to stop here for a second because we had a fascinating conversation with a gentleman at the parking structure who gave us a little bit of info. I don't know how inside this is. I had originally thought, my speculation was that open area that we're seeing to the left of the parking structure proper was going to be the new lane for tram traffic. Meaning we could see the tram right there in the very far left of the frame. My idea was that was going, that tram would be where the dirt is now. And that's where guests would be picked up. The tram would pick you up. Back in the day, if you recall, the tram used to pick you up outdoors, not indoors, not under the parking structure like they are today, but out in that area where the tram is now. And I thought they were going to do something similar because you can see in the concept art that there's a bunch of trees and, it's a very well-covered area because guests are going to be standing out there and you want to give them some shade, give them some cover. But what you can't see in that concept art are any trams on the other side of those trees, and you can't really see where guests are accumulating, right? So I don't believe that, for example, they're going to load in the foreground of this picture where the tram is now. I don't believe that's going to be a boarding area. If it were, they would have, I believe, drawn the concept art to illustrate that. My guess is if anything, that's a drop-off. But it may not even be that. But it's most likely, if they're going to do anything here, it's going to be a drop-off. But as we go back to what's happening, with the construction today, what we're being told is that they are going to keep the loading area underneath, on the ground floor, underneath the parking structure. There's going to be a very long tram loading area, very much like how we have today, where you have those, 10, 12 bag check stations and metal detectors. You're going to have something similar to that. Today, when you walk to the Mickey, or when you arrive at the Mickey and Friends parking structure, all the guests accumulate in one long queue to the left of this frame, and then they, it's one long queue, and then they split up into the 12 different bag check areas. We're going to see 12 different queues pop out of those. Imagine, if you will, each one of those supports being a separate queue. Each one of those supports down here is a line coming out of those queues, and people, you know, were getting into different lines and going through bag check and going through the metal detectors and boarding a tram underneath that structure. And then all that area, I guess, all that area is just open for guests to, you know, to gather, to walk around, for the queues to sort of flood out there into the tree-lined areas. But like I said, what you can't see from here are the actual trams. I'm curious to know why they chose that, although I think maybe it's probably to their benefit to keep things in that way. I always felt like the crowds got too intense when they were all gathered together, when you had the pickup and the drop-off in that same area, in that same loop back in the day before they started all of this. So this helps to distribute the crowds a little bit more, I think. And we'll take another look at the ever-evolving guest or, you know, pedestrian sort of hub, as it were. And that is progressing there. And I do believe that we also were told that tall tower there is for elevators. And there you go, guys. That'll do it for this week. Don't forget to stick around for tomorrow for our new Knothole Gang update. And until next time, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and fresh baked! We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh baked!